This week at Full Steam Ahead, we're making bat puppets with flapping wings. Plus, you can take what you've learned about how to build the wing mechanism to make dinosaurs, dragons, birds, whatever you can think of. Our bat puppet itself is just made out of crafting felt and some googly eyes and hot glue. But first, let's figure out how to make the wings flap. For that, we need a straw, some string, a pipe cleaner, scissors, and tape. You will need a plastic drinking straw that's been cut to be just a bit shorter than the wingspan of your bat. Fold the straw in half and cut a notch out of the center by cutting from the center of the fold at a 45-degree angle. This notch will allow the straw to bend easily at this point. This one is going to be in the center of the bat, right underneath the body, and we're going to make two more, one for each place that we want the wings to bend. Fold the straw in the same direction that you folded it to cut the notch for the first one, so that the two will both be facing the same direction. These notches should be roughly halfway between the end of the straw and the center notch, and you should try to make both sides be roughly the same length. You can see that I'm making some rough measurements by using my 3 finger widths from the end of the straw to measure where to put the notch. Now we're going to cut 2 short slits in each end of the straw to help secure our string. I'm going to very carefully use this craft knife to show you one way of doing it that an adult can try if they feel confident, but you can do the same thing with scissors. These are short, straight cuts that don't need to go very deep. Mine are about 4 millimeters long. Now we need to thread a piece of string through the straw. To do this, fold the end of a pipe cleaner over the end of the string and pinch securely. Now slowly feed the pipe cleaner through the straw. That will drag the string through. You'll have to make sure you keep pushing the pipe cleaner very close to the straw. If you hold it too far back, it will start bending and make your job more difficult. You'll also have to pay attention and make sure that your string doesn't accidentally get hung up in one of those slits you've cut in the end. You might find that you prefer cutting those slits after you've threaded your straw, but then you have to keep an eye out and make sure you don't accidentally cut your string, so it's up to you what works best. Once the pipe cleaner comes out the other end of the straw, separate the pipe cleaner and string and hold the string in place with your fingers on that end. Now pull the pipe cleaner back out the other end. Being very careful not to accidentally pull your string out, tuck the string into one of the slits you've cut in an end. Wrap the string around the straw and then go back through the same slit and come out the slit on the other side. You can repeat this 1 or 2 times depending on how long your string is. This is going to make a really secure connection between your string and your straw so you don't need to tie a knot. Wrap a bit of Scotch tape around the end of your straw over top of the string, and we'll repeat the process on the other side. Before securing the string on the second end, make sure you give it a little bit of a tug to make sure that the string is nice and snug throughout. You don't want it to be so tight that it starts to bend the straw, but it should be tight enough that when you bend it in the middle, you can see a little gap between the string and the notch. Now we're going to tie a string around that little bit of exposed string you can see in the center notch. This can be a little bit easier if you have a needle to use, but you can also do that just with your fingers, or you can try the pipe cleaner trick again. Just secure this second string with a simple double knot and cut to whatever length you want for your puppet. Now bend your straw up at the center notch to make a V and down at the sides to make an M. Hold it with your index finger in the V with your thumb and middle fingers bracing on the bottom and start pulling. Now let's make a bat, shall we? The best material for making this puppet is crafting felt or another type of fabric because we want it to bend back and forth many times without cracking or breaking. You'll also want to use hot glue to make sure everything stays secure. Trace and cut out the pieces of your pattern. Tracing onto dark fabric can be easier if you have a silver Sharpie or even a piece of chalk. Let's take a look at how our finished bat will be put together. You can see there's a little pocket between the two layers where your finger can go, and the wing flapper is on the bottom. The body is glued onto the top of the wing pieces, and the ears are glued on top of that. Lay your small body piece over top of the wing piece, making sure that the tips of the noses line up. We are going to connect the two with glue, sort of making a pocket, so there's room for your finger. I'm using this silver Sharpie to show where I need to put the glue. If you have something that you can use to draw yourself a little guide, that would be a great idea. Now I'm going to make a line of glue all the way up the sides and around to the tip of the nose and down the other side, but I am not going to make a line of glue around the bottom because that needs to be open for my finger to go in. Now lay your body piece over again, making sure everything lines up, and once it's dry we can put ears on. This bat has some big goofy ears that have been folded over to make them three-dimensional so they'll stick up. This is a great technique to learn, and once you've done it once, all of your creatures will have great three-dimensional ears. Fold it over and pinch at the base until it looks the way you want it to look. Then put a little bit of hot glue right in the center and fold the layers over until they're securely glued. Now you're going to have a nice, fun, three-dimensional ear. When you make your second one, you need to remember that you need ears for each side of the head, so they need to be the opposite. Fold the other ear over in the opposite direction. It's a good idea to ask somebody else to take a look at your ears before you put glue in your second one, just to make sure you're not accidentally giving your bat 2 right ears or 2 left ears. Now it's time to decide where to put your ears and eyes on your bat. Remember, this bat belongs to you, and wherever you want to put ears, eyes, and other things is completely up to you. Your bat doesn't need to look like this example, and it doesn't need to look like the bat that somebody else in your house made. What is a good idea is to practice placing all of the different pieces without glue before you commit anything with hot glue. Because once it's on there, and it's pretty difficult to change. Once you've got the eyes and ears glued on, we can flip it over and put on our wing flapper. Lay the straw across the wingspan of your bat and find the spot it needs to go so that the ends of the straw don't poke out over the ends of the wings. The center notch in your straw should also be lined up with the tip of your bat's nose. We are going to put a solid line of hot glue from end to end so the entire straw gets glued down. It might be helpful to use something to make a mark to remind yourself where to put that glue. I'm using 2 dots, but you might like to draw a solid line so that you can follow that with your glue. This is probably the trickiest part of assembling this bat, so I would recommend that an adult do this part, especially because we now need to press that skinny little straw into that hot glue, and you want to make sure your fingers don't touch the glue. Be patient and let this step dry fully before trying to use your puppet. The first time you use it, be very gentle. Make sure you get your finger in there securely and brace the underside with your thumb and middle finger. Bend each wing a couple of times to get it ready and pull gently. Now you're ready for whatever batty adventures life might bring you. If you think your little brown bat could use some unique personality or accessories, go for it. Also, think about how you could change the body shape to make a different type of flying creature. Could you imagine making the body longer with a tail at the end and maybe making a dragon? A toothless one? Let your imagination take control and see what amazing things you can create. Full Steam Ahead kits are available nearly every Saturday at the Fort St. John Public Library, thanks to support from Shell. They're free. Just come and get one.